Greetings and welcome to a Friday edition of Shotgun Start. It is February 27th. Andy, how we doing?
Brendan, I'm doing great. I'm just rolling around the swamp, collecting breadcrumbs left and right. And, I do have to issue an apology.
Okay. Apology corner here to start. Send us out into March next week.
I feel like I didn't really put enough into Five Guys to Monitor this week, and I missed one right in my crosshairs.
Which one was that?
I think the guy that we most need to monitor this week is Kevin Waugh, and I just am worried about our guy and how he's going to handle the Canadian hockey defeat. How him and his dad, they probably watched together.
This is so stupid.
Do you think he's going to be able to overcome the heartbreak of losing the gold medal match or gold medal game?
I got frozen there, but yeah, this is ridiculous. You think he was? I think, being the true connoisseur of the art form, he had to love the paddle save by Hellebuck there, so he was at least, boosted by that. Watching the master at work. Now it might not be for the colors, the French Canadian contingent up there. But yeah, you're right. This is so dumb. So dumb.
I think Kevin was probably thinking my dad would have stood on his head, and it wouldn't have even gotten to overtime.
Speaking of hockey, let's do about 10 minutes on the State of the Union, Cash in the locker room, the women's team. You want to do that? Should we go?
No. I think
people are insane. It's such a moment of national pride. It's so cool. And for men and women, look at you. You think I'm actually going into it. But people just need to chill out all around. Chill out. They are being politicized. But
you can see on my face as
chill out.
Started.
Yeah, you're like, oh, is he actually talking about this? It's just a great, awesome moment. Everybody needs to chill out. But let's not politicize it. Anyways, I have a sad note here. We have to lead with. I don't know if we're leading with it at this point. Do you see the news on Andrea Pavon?
Oh my God!
Ryan French tweeted it. I started getting words about this a couple days ago.
This is crazy.
So he's in the South African Open. He opens the door at his hotel or Airbnb or whatever, apartment he's staying in, and steps into the elevator and the car isn't there, and he falls like 2 or 3 stories. And now he's like, it sounds not good. Like shoulder surgery for like 6 hours, stuff with the lower body, like an awful story, an awful freak accident. I talked to a friend around here in property management. Like happens more than you think. I was like, no way. This isn't a thing that this is like getting struck by lightning kind of thing. But I don't know. Like you think about it now with phones, you're just looking at your phone. And you expect the ding and then the car to be there. And it's like awful. I feel horrible for the guy.
Yeah. Yeah. You could see it. It had to be because of the phone, right?
I don't know. I mean, he was there. I assume his cat, he was with somebody, who didn't, he walked first and then fell. It's like awful, awful story.
Very sad.
There's now another WD.
Retired.
He was a WD for most awful reasons. There's another WD at the South African Open, which for my sake, a nice little save, a penalty flag, a gift wrapped, interference call. George Coetzee has also retired for, I think, less serious reasons than Andrea Pavon.
He was 7 over through 7.
All tickets are void. Game within the game is void. Does not count. I
don't think we're going to let you get off the hook.
Nope, doesn't count. WD doesn't count. You got to post. In order for the game within the game to count. Sorry. Coetzee's zone, if he's not full strength, then we can't operate off of that game within the game.
I saw Big Earn hitting balls on the range. He was looking a little husky.
What's the guy? What? Yeah. What? He's
just
like
saying.
55. He's done everything he can in the world. Let the boy be husky at this point. He can do whatever he wants. He's 56. What do you want him to be?
About Champs Tour, the rest of his Champs Tour career. I think he might be trying to vacate the Champs Tour before Tiger gets there.
You think there's still that? I've already done this once. I'm not doing it again.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about it, you've got a decrepit Tiger who's had every operation known to man. It might be opportunity for these guys. I'm going to get me some back now on the champion. So you have a random Scott Perrell, Stephen Alker is going to tell their kids about how they whipped up on Tiger potentially down the line. Here's PJ coming in.
Tiger has no idea what he's in for with Stephen Alker.
All right.
No clue.
I was going to say,
we got some good Champs Tour intel while we're down here in the swap. We got some good.
Are you allowed to share anything? Breadcrumbs or whatever? What do you have?
Maybe Ernst's not avoiding Tiger, but another 50-year-old entering the class this year. We heard that Ben Crane is going to be a problem.
Ben Crane apparently is bullying golf courses for the first time in his career at age 50. He's put on a lot of speed, and expectations are from a vetted source. This is no bullshit.
As good of a source as we could get, honestly.
Yeah. This is Ben Crane expected to dominate this year on the Champs Tour. Also, not far away, Chez Reavie is coming. Big Bill Chez Reavie.
Big expectations for Chez from this.
What's the Chez intel you got? He's doing well. He's ready to go.
We got intel. So obviously, Whisper Rock is one of the big hangs in Scottsdale for pro golfers. Lots of money games, lots of matches between pro golfers. Of course, listeners of this podcast will know this is the place, the origins of the assassin, Ken Tanagawa, who went up to the Champions Tour, won a major. He's done pretty
well for himself. Yeah,
he's done well for himself. He was an amateur golfer that would just go out and get in pros' pockets at Whisper Rock before he got on the senior tour.
Literally, why they called him the assassin. That's why he was an assassin at Whisper Rock. Okay.
Jeff Ogilvy told me once. I don't think this was on air. I think this was off air. He was like, the first time I played Ken Tanagawa at Whisper Rock, he's just this regular guy. He comes up and he's like, I need 3 aside. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, you want 3 aside? Fine. And he hung a 31 on me on the front 9. Anyways, word. So, you got these money games, and what happens is there becomes dominant players at the Rock. Ken Tanagawa, one of them. You wanted Ken Tanagawa on your team. So anyways, another man that has risen to this ranks is Chez Reavie. And we were told by this person, he's like, we're teaming up, for, a game, a partner game at Whisper Rock. And the crazy thing about Whisper Rock, this always happens, is some player just becomes unbeatable at Whisper Rock. And Chez Reavie, I'm standing on the tee and I'm like, I'm taking Chez over John Rahm.
I love this.
This source said Chez's hybrid game is the best in the world. Better than anybody's ever seen.
On brand. That's so unsurprising. Just smacking hybrids to pinpoint positions. Love it.
So anyways, speaking of Chez's hybrid game, this is a man that hit it 223 yards or whatever that number was 3 straight times to the exact same spot at the U.S. Open.
18 at Pebble Beach. Not exactly. I don't know. Sort of an avant-garde approach. Just drop one 208 at 18 out there.
Was it 208?
I think it was 208. I could be wrong. But it's in that range. Somewhere in the 205 to 220 range. Yeah.
So anyways, apparently now, though, Chez's time has passed. Do you have any guesses on who the dominant Whisper Rock player is right now that just cannot be unseated at the Rock?
So Chez's time has passed. That's not surprising to learn. He was just rumbling.
I think he's still good, though. You know?
Want Rob? It's like, no, I want Chez. I need Chez today at the Rock.
That's what he actually said.
I know. I have no guesses. I'm trying to think of who's in Phoenix. Who is it?
It's JJ Spawn. He cannot be beaten. Apparently, he just goes out to Whisper Rock and cleans up every time. Similar mold player to Ches. Maybe a little bit more pop in the bat.
Sure.
I think it's probably disrespectful to our U.S. Open champion to be comparing him to Ches. Maybe he's a rich man's Ches Reavie.
That's fair. I feel like maybe Colton Oast or somebody alluded to that at some point. But yeah, that's unsurprising. Just clean it up. I love that. That's good intel. That's good breadcrumbs. I love to think of Ches as like the top dog. We're at a club where Rahm is.
We've just been working the swamp down here.
Well, swamp can be fruitful at times. Sometimes the swamp gets you. Well, but you come out with a few extra crumbs. I love that.
Everybody's worked up about Tiger. Everybody's worked up about Zach. There is another 50-year-old that people in the know are really worked up about.
I mean, can I just I don't know if this is the surest sign the Champions Tour should be dead and gone, but it's certainly the most recent. Come on. We got Ben Crane lying in wait. Ben effing Crane is speed training, lying in wait to just can we just do away with this whole charade of this tour? Come on. We don't need this.
Elker could, Alex Chayka couldn't kill the Champions Tour. Steven Elker, Scott Perrell, Jason Caron haven't killed the Champions Tour. Maybe former golf boy Ben Crane is going to come in. God, there needs to be a golf boy retrospective.
Yeah, there does.
Surprised.
I mean, are we 20 year? What's the 20-year reunion that came out? What, 2008 ish?
Yeah, it sounds maybe a little later. It was Hunter Mahan, Ben Crane, Ricky, and Bubba are your four. I'm surprised one of these thirst trap websites haven't done it yet. Quite
2011. So we got 15 years.
Much work.
You know what's wild about the golf boy? Maybe it is the 15th anniversary.
It is 2011.
What date did it come out?
Let's find out.
Oh, you're putting them on the spot.
Now I'm really digging.
But anyways,
June 13th.
June. All right, we're a little early. So this is the 14 year and 3 months retrospective that everybody's been asking for. Or 9 months, not 3 months, 9 months. If in 2011, if I was going to tell you that Hunter Mahan was the first of the golf boys out of golf, what would you have said?
I would have been shocked. Obviously, number one would be Ben Crane.
Number one with a bullet, Ben Crane.
I mean, but at that time, it was Hunter Mahan may never fall out of the top 25 in the world. I mean, that guy was deadly. The kids don't know about Hunter Mahan.
Hunter Mahan was a problem.
Dude was awesome. He was a machine. Now he could have won more, I suppose, but guy was legit.
Could have won more. I feel like his Ryder Cup moment just
overshadows
the player he was.
Yeah.
Hunter Mahan was great.
He was good. He was incredible. Legit. Anyways, yeah, I'd be shocked if he was the first. You told me he was the first guy. Essentially, is Bubba still in golf? I suppose he is.
Bubba's, maybe the worst GM in LIV.
Yeah, not good. Not good.
Oh, did you see the Talor OKC news came out?
No. What?
There's a trademark. I feel like we had this a couple weeks ago. We just didn't share it because we didn't feel like it was pertinent. Seems like Talor is going to change change Smash to Oklahoma City Golf Club.
Oh, really?
He's really leaning into the Presti angle.
That is so. I mean, what happens when Talor leaves? That seems very short-sighted. That seems very short-sighted.
I don't think Talor's leaving.
I mean, he's going to. Anyways, that doesn't seem like a long-term move. I mean, I understand there's a lot of Oklahoma golfers, but anyways, let's talk Cognizant.
He missed a chance to sign a former Oklahoma golfer.
Who's that?
Anthony Kim.
Anthony Kim. Yeah, he's a Malbon investor now. Can't wear Malbon during events because he's with Under Armour, is the Four Aces official apparel partner. But he's a Malbon now for all the other sort of activations or other whatever he does that's not live, which I guess is some
Social
stuff.
posts.
Yeah, he's in Malbon. He's an investor in Malbon. So there's also more merchandise. I guess Justin Thomas is. There's one less wolf in the pack. Justin Thomas has left Grayson. Apparently, these are the sleuthing that's going on online. Maybe going somewhere else. So I just the amount of ink and breadth and who cares? There's so much like people treating this like major news. Like I get it, it's notable.
We care. We care about how you look, and you could go to beatdratty.com. Use the code SGS30.
You can. You connected with some of our old Dratty friends this week. I was jealous I couldn't make it down there. I was not jealous. I was
Good
sad
people.
I couldn't make it down there. Yeah, great people. We're so happy to be back with them again this year. One last wolf. JT moving on. All right, Cognizant. Couple Cognizant details I'd like to clean up.
Did you see the Shane Lowry?
I did see the Shane Lowry. He
Something
said,
we've been, it's just nice to see the players getting in on it. Something we've been talking about for a few months here or a few years here.
What the gist of Lowry's comments were like, look, they started the last 3 or 4 years. It's going to be green on TV. I live in South Florida. I play around South Florida. This is the best time of the year to play in South Florida for course conditioning. Absolutely dialed right now. This is not how all the other most places look. And it's the overseed, and it looks nice on TV. But then, instead of 7 under or 5 under winning, we're at 20 under. And that's the gist. I'm paraphrasing. Is that fair? That's about what he said.
Mm-hmm. Did you see some clarification? Tron's been going hard about this.
Are you talking about Billy Boy? Yeah,
Billy Boy.
We've been going hard about this for years. Billy Boy. I saw his retort. Says the owners of the course. It's not the tour. Now we like the baton. We like Billy Boy. It's not a credible. I don't think that's a credible defense. The tour puts their thumb on the scale with everything. They can tell. Look, PGA Net, do you want to have an event or not? Like I don't think the tour is just on their hands and knees begging PGA National here of like if we must do exactly what you say. I just don't think that's the case. I think the tour can tell them in whenever the preceding year, don't do that. I just don't think the tour is at their mercy. I don't find that to be like, okay, that's maybe what happened and it wasn't a tour directed decision, but I think to suggest the tour is powerless here is not not like a credible defense. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think we've seen a long track record of the tour. How do I put this lightly here?
Oh God,
molesting golf courses to their own to fit their goals and desires. Obviously, one of the big things the tour always likes is green on TV. It's just this misconception. I think there needs to be a real examination of the ball. You talk about the world we're entering in, the scarcity tour, the maybe finally an attempt at meritocracy. Maybe the exemptions are going away, albeit with fighting tooth and nail from the membership for exemptions. But I think one of the things that needs to be examined is the seriousness and the actual ball knowledge of the people that administer championships at the PGA Tour. I think these guys are actually dipshits, and I have to look no further than the latest Korn Ferry Tour post. I was so happy to see them highlighting the architecture of Jockey Club, and then so disappointed when I listened to the person that did the highlighting of Jockey Club and Alistair McKenzie just say, he had 2 design philosophies. It's like, well, he had 13 very famous principles, and I don't want to be pedantic or but like get at least if you're going to do something, do it right. And I think like this is just a long string of, the tour has just completely ruined so many places.
I think we raised the red flags and sounded the alarm 3 years ago or so when we said championship management is taking over this event. Now, like, that's not all like course conditioning. That's a lot of other stuff. But you're right. You're right. And you know, the rollback is also like quote unquote in the ball knowledge. That's like that quadrant of administration.
Sounds like the tour is going to come hard after the rollback.
Well,
anti-rollback.
The Jockey Club is being just absolutely browbeaten into submission right now by the KFT boy. It might as well be just one of these other KFT events they have somewhere in the middle of nowhere. Matthew Anderson, you know, in what I'm sure will be of great comfort to the Canadians crying in their beer from Sunday morning. Matthew Anderson's 8 under through his first 15 holes, threatening 60 at the Jockey Club. And there's about, you know, so that'll make up for the loss in the hockey game. Mason Anderson, American, unrelated to Matthew Anderson, is 7 under. There's a billion guys that are going to be shooting 66 and or better. So that's being browbeaten at the moment. One way, maybe these guys, you know, have a little bit of an advantage. One way, they're optimized. They're optimized for Jockey Club. They're optimized for PGA National.
You know what Jockey Club isn't great at?
What's that?
The yardage plates. There aren't yardage plates left and right.
Yeah.
So you know what you might want to double check?
Would that be in meters too down there?
I don't think so.
No, yards. Well, Cobalt, our friends at Cobalt have both meters and yards. I was fiddling around with mine yesterday. I have
What were you shooting?
Nothing. I just took it out of the box. I was looking at it. You hear a firsthand testimonial of me using it on the course, you can know it's total bullshit because I have not used it yet. But
I used mine last night.
I liked it. Had meters and yards. How'd it go last night?
It was great. I filled up the tank. I did my favorite thing at this point in my life, which is chase the sun by myself.
Solo. Oh God.
Carrying my bag at the park. It was a great night. It was beautiful out. Beautiful sunset. I gotta say, this Cobalt is legit. It is no bullshit, as you would say, legit. The thing that I love about it, I mean, when they sent me off like 4, and South Florida, it can be windy. They sent me off floor. I've been sitting in a chair all day taking phone calls. And the wind's just blowing like 25 in my face. And I haven't swung a golf club. And they're like, just go rush out to 4, get ahead of these guys. So I'm like, so of course I like just hit like this neck cut that goes like 220. And I'm like far away, like really far away. It's a big par 4. And you know what I did? I used the zoom, got right in there. All of a sudden it was like I was 100 yards away. It's easier to hit the target, hit the flag when you're 100 yards away with the rangefinder. Yeah. This zoom is a game changer. It's a game changer. This Cobalt, like it just lets you zoom in if you want to zoom in, zoom out. This is a great rangefinder. You know what? Like the thing I'm kind of happiest about with it, like when a rangefinder goes south, generally there's no like buttons that actually explain what they do on it. It's like if you're, my rangefinder years ago got switched from yards to meters. I couldn't figure out how to get it back.
I forgot about that.
And guess what? This thing has like a button. It's like yards or meters.
Yeah, I love that.
And it has like a brightness thing for your display. It is very well thought out.
User friendly.
Love this thing. Huge fan. Cobalt dash golf. It's a dash, not a slash. Cobalt dash golf.
Fried Egg Pod 15. 15% at cobalt-golf.com.
There's
Fried
no
Egg Pod
spaces.
15.
There's no spaces. Fried Egg Pod 15.
Fried Egg Pod 15. Cobalt. Stock up. Season's coming. I haven't used mine yet, but I'm already fiddling around and excited to use it when it's time to play golf. Hopefully sooner than later.
Hey, can I parlay? You could get a lot of data with your Cobalt. Can I parlay to the data boys?
Sure.
Seems like the golf world's hot on our scent that we've been talking about on this pod for 4 to 6 to 8 to maybe a year.
Okay. What?
I saw the Data Golf newsletter. Where is the next generation? ? This has become a hot topic.
Yes. Who are the young guns? Who are the young guns? Next wave. Yeah.
So anyways, other people have figured it out. I thought this was interesting. Prior to 2010, the top level pro golf outside Tiger was largely dominated by players over 25. But then 21-year-old Rory McIlroy burst on the scene. Then we got Jordan Spieth at 21. Justin Thomas led. They have this like data golf points, per year earned. Justin Thomas led that as 24-year-old. John Rahm became a top 5 player at 22. Young Bryson finished second in 2018. 2020, you got Morikawa, Hovland, and Wolf. Obviously, we've talked about this. This is just putting some data in it. But since then, not much has happened. The best season by a young player since Hovland in 2023 came from Ludwig 2024, driving comfortably everywhere. So basically, they point out there's no young player that has done what these guys have done. It's a void. It's a huge void. Chris Gotterup's way up the list of I think he's got the most of their points earned this year, but he's 26.
26, yeah.
The young player, and they kind of end it with like Jackson Koiven has the best chance of doing this. But this is a trend. Everybody's picking up on it.
Lamagna, others. I mean, we've been sort of. I was shouting about it at the Ryder Cup, like Euro Ryder Cup, basically whistling straights, like, oh, they're screwed. Europe's screwed. Like, yeah, they didn't have young guys step up. They had Lowry, Fleetwood, others like became even better in the I don't know. You've been calling it out. It is a theme now.
It's a huge theme.
Seems like. Good newsletter. I like that. Yeah, it's interesting who's going to step. And, I thought Lamagna was really good in our Wednesday newsletter about like marrying speed with great iron play and like how that's very unique. And is that something that you might struggle with these young guys who come in optimized for speed? Then you maybe get to a more unforgiving game and where to win or to succeed, top 10, whatever it is, you need it all because the best at the top tour have it all, right? And so is it harder to be a good to great iron player with speed? And are you seeing that? Is that maybe the issue with some of this like young era players? I don't want to like cast a, monolithic wide net. It's not. There are outliers, but maybe that's part of it as well. It's interesting dynamic happening right now. One other thing, do you want to jump in there? But
here's the thing: if young players are once again, if we've like renormalized to pre-Tiger, and what I would say is the market of pro golf maybe has adjusted because the technology change in the world of golf. The 460cc heads, the solid core ball, and the TrackMan created this huge disruption, which led to, I would say, the DJ Ricky generation just got completely ruined by
lost in the middle of the sauce. Yeah.
And for people asking like why, they had to learn two different games. And I did a pod with these guys that did a study on tennis rackets years ago on Friday. It would have been maybe like 2019.
Yeah.
And when there's massive technological change, generations like that have to relearn skills are extremely disadvantaged. And the advantage, like, because like they were ascending up, but like the advantage is like Adam Scott. They're like basically Adam Scott, Justin Rose had already gotten to like, the state. But then every young player has a huge advantage because they don't have to learn two different types of game
approaches.
And the game completely changed. But like the people that got hurt the most were like Ricky, Webb Simpson, DJ was an anomaly, but maybe DJ wouldn't have been as good if the equipment had never changed. It is like you could do a hypothesis on that. Yeah. But anyways, one of the things I was going to say is if the trend has normalized and we're back to pre-Tiger, like 97, where, being 35 is like the best age for pro golf. If we're back to that, what a windfall for the guys that made hay in their young 20s, like
a double windfall almost.
Yeah, it's a double windfall because they get this huge prime. But what's interesting is like, I don't think any of them have really taken the ball and run and been great, and maybe it's Scotty's. This is like Scotty's thing where you could say like he might actually make a run at like all the records if the real prime of golf is once again, 33, 34, 35, as opposed to, 8 years ago, we're like, man, is the prime of a golfer 27?
It's interesting in our player survey that we did, anonymous survey over the off season, like not all players, but ball knowers, commentators, smart people, coaches.
We didn't have any PGA Tour champs set up.
No, they were all like, is Scotty, I forget what the number was, like they were all like pretty resounding. Oh yeah, Scotty's like getting 8, 9 majors. Like, oh yeah, he's going to have like 6 by the end of 2027, 7 by the end. Like they were all pretty much like for sure. And I know we can be prisoners of the moment, and these last 2 years have been so dominant, but they were all like, oh yeah, it's coming. Interesting though. You think the tour is, I don't want to just discard that comment. You think the tour is coming pretty hard against rollback, which is, I guess we've seen signals of that, which would be a little bit of a shame if it's just like playing political football.
I mean, what they should do, I think everybody probably knows. The driver head should go to 260 cc maximum, and the ball should be about 20% of what it is now. And then you get like somewhat accurate representation of the game of golf. But never, it seems like they're just gonna cry.
That's like a shame, quite honestly, that like such a big cascading topic is sort of can be stopped by 10 pros in a room or whatever, 50 pros in a room, and it's like a political maneuver, right? It's a political hurdle to have to do that when it has all these like far-reaching impacts. One quick last cognizant note.
One thing I point out.
Yeah.
A little scuttlebutt. Maybe the shine on roll apps coming off a little bit within the players.
It's like that first 100 days theory. Like you got to get your stuff done in the first 100 days, or else of like Congress or whoever that's just going to gum up the works, start jam you, or the honeymoon ends. Yeah, that there've been a few allusions and breadcrumbs to that I've seen dropped in different places. That's interesting. Another breadcrumb you picked up apparently. One last cognizant note. Everybody's decrying the crappy field they got, and it's because it's jammed amongst all the elevated events or signature, whatever they are. I cannot open email, Twitter, golf website without seeing Ryan Gerard. And honestly, the guy seems awesome. Seems like an incredible personality, golf mind, someone that the people who listen to this kind of podcast, golf nuts, golf nerds, the people you must win to then preach to the larger casuals. Like, I don't think the tour has always grasped that. Like, and maybe that's part of the rollback decision. Like, you must win over the diehards. You must have like those people engaged to then preach out to the casuals, to their friends. That's how you grow. That kind of audience, the hardcore audience, should love Ryan Gerard. He is maybe, we heard Roll App was like, went to the tour and was like, how do you make like this is not the quote he used. Like, how do we make mules interesting? How do we make them more like, we need to spotlight these people? How do you make a middle class or rank and file player, not necessarily a star, but embraced? Maybe the Honda Classic in those kind of weeks are the time and vehicle to do that. He seems incredible. The tour did this video with Ben Griffin on a bench where they had to guess the top 100 in the FedEx Cup. Super funny, engaging, good content. Little long. I'm not going to watch all 12 minutes, but I watched the first 6 or 5. Looked great, though. There was a press conference he did yesterday. Like, he's the favorite. He's the betting favorite, Ryan Gerard. That several people, I've read through the whole transcript, sat in on it. It's like one of the best press conferences they've ever been. He was asked, like, your numbers, like, why don't you play more to your numbers? He said a great quote was like, I'm a field player. I try and hit shots. I don't try and play math. Love that. Love that quote. Pretty good. Talking about, like, I am a field player. Like, I, of course, want to know some of my numbers and speed. If I'm like if a driver face is cracked or other things, like, if but I'm not going to just play golf to the numbers. I play it to feel. I don't play math. Brentley did a lawn profile on him from Riviera. He had this incredible quote inside it. Read Brentley. Go to Brentley's golfchannel.com article. There's a lot there about him warming up at Riviera. Great article about how one coach at Golf Digest once described his swing as Daniel Berger and John Rahm had an aneurysm on the downswing. Not very complimentary at all. Like, it is a very unique motion. And he admitted that in his press conference yesterday. But he had this quote as well in the Romine article. Quote, a lot of guys, when they take speed off the golf club, the ball flight comes down. This was like, he played around with Scotty. He's like, oh, like, I need to learn that. Scotty hits this shot with this smooth knockdown swing, but he launches it higher, spins it more, and it bridges the gap between 2 full numbers. I've kind of been obsessed. I've been obsessed with this shot since I played with him in the final round of Houston last year. I've gone about learning how to hit it. The ball is a little more forward in my stance. I choke down on it and feel like I'm slowing down through the ball and speeding up after. That launches it higher with less speed. I don't have the extra spin like Scotty, but it's coming out higher and softer. And I think it's going to serve me well at the Players, Augusta, PGA, US Open. Good stuff.
I don't want to explain this in layman's terms, but I'm just so people understand why this is a big deal, why this shot is a weapon. Is especially, when you get on tour or the harder the golf tournament, the more tucked flags are, the firmer greens are. When you end up between clubs, you're in this position where you have to aim away from flags because the flight comes down. Yeah. That flight comes down, the spin goes down, and you can't get to certain things. But what he's saying, and this is it's like super revelatory to Scotty's greatness. And one of the reasons that makes him great is that even when Scotty is in between clubs, he has this spectacular special shot that launches high, spins similar to a full shot, and can get into those tucked flags, can get to places that you would normally not think of accessing when you're taking speed off an iron, when you're in between. Like, you hear, I think, like, something that people don't realize with, like, pro golf is, like, some days you might shoot super low because, like, the occurrence of the ball kept ending up in great numbers for you, where you could situationally be slightly more aggressive, and that yielded closer approach shots. And then the next day you might go out and it's like, oh, you'll hear guys like, I got a bunch of bad numbers. And what that means is, like, I got numbers where I was constantly in between clubs and didn't feel like I could push it towards, flags. I had to play away. And what Gerard, I'd never even thought about that with Scotty until this quote came out. And it's an amazing anecdote about Scotty, but also where Ryan Gerard's kind of taken his game to the next level. Getting a shot like this is a major unlock in a game where margins are so slim.
Yeah, it's really, I think it It definitely needs some layman explanation, but it's also pretty explanatory. I mean, I think it's really interesting. You're applying like you're showing the application of how you need it, to get to flags. Who were you talking about the other day that you said hits it real high? You were impressed with?
Penji.
Okay, that's right. But now that we're talking about not full shots here, this is a very different. It's not totally different, but obviously.
Yeah, it's like for me, I hit like an 8-iron 165. I hit my 9-iron 150, and like when I get 152 or 153, what ends up happening to me because I don't have the shot is like my 8-iron is going to come out like pretty flat, and I'm gonna hit it. I can hit it the number. I'm comfortable hitting it the number, but I'm not comfortable taking on, a front flag, for example, or, a front flag where I know I need to stop it quick. I just hit it a little bit further and then I deal with 25 feet coming down.
Yeah. And as he alluded to, and he might be able to get away with it at wherever, TPC, whatever, middle of the season, but serves me well at Augusta, US Open players. Things like that.
That's the thing. The harder the golf, and this is like, I know people get like, course critique, conditioning critique, like, oh, you complain about this, you complain about that. This is why it matters, is that the harder, the better the setup and the more challenging the golf is and this is why I probably harp on rollback all the time, is that shots and having these shots in your arsenal are magnified. And this is what you want. This is like, this is like watching, the NFL and watching a guy that's able to just process at the quarterback position quicker than other people, or, has Drake May's deep balls, unbelievable. It's an unbelievable unlock. Like, this is that for golf. And it's, what's sad is we don't get this a lot. We don't get players sharing this type of insight a lot. And that's like the incredible thing about this story.
Anyways. Yep. That's one of my observations from this week. Gerard, I should say. Ryan Gerard, super insightful, endearing, smart dude. Like maybe the Honda, like this is the way. And obviously he's playing great golf. It's not like they just plucked him out of nowhere. But it's been great getting to know more about him, certainly this season. And this is a week to spotlight him. So maybe that's what you do with these off weeks. We may be going to PGA Tour B and A. Who knows? Some reporting come on that, Eamon and others. So
sounds like it, but I would just say that the membership is. Who would have guessed this? The membership is proving to be difficult. I think like maybe the messaging miss is like with the PGA Tour A and B, is understanding if you can make PGA Tour A really successful, you might see, like, we think the money's preposterous now. The money could get nuts for pro golf if you do this right. And I think what people think is like, if you go to PGA Tour A, PGA Tour B is going to be like the Corn Ferry, and that's what guys are going to be playing for. That's not going to be the case. It's going to be like $6-7 million, person.
Yeah. The Cognizant this week is almost 10 million. I don't think they're going to go from 10 to 2.5. If you make it a PGA Tour B, right? That's just not going to happen. Anyways, just an observation from me on Ryan Gerard this week. I think that's the way you can do it. We already know Rory and Scotty and all these people, and use these weeks to do something like that. Mm-hmm. All right, I'm going to do a quick Flashback Friday. We're going back. Doing a flashback. We've been doing this for as long as this podcast has existed, 7-8 years now, 7 years, whatever it is. A lot of flashback content out there. This is on an old Honda Classic, the Honda Classic of 1991. This was not a Shane Lowry type bemoaning, it's too green and we're going to 20 under. This was a total ass kicker. This was at TPC Eagle Trace. Steve Pate won the 1991 Honda Classic at Eagle Trace by 3 strokes. He won by 3. What did he shoot in the final round? Any guesses what he shot in the final round? He won by 3.
73.
Shot 75 in the final round. He won by 3. Worst final round score by a PGA Tour winner in 10 years at the time. He had a 6-stroke lead. This was Saturday. When he had a 6-stroke lead when wind finally halted the third round Saturday night at the Honda Classic in Coral Springs. Quote, impossible, snorted Paul Azinger, who, like Pate, was among 7 players stranded on the wind rake temper testing TPC at Eagle Trace. Quote, carnival golf, said Greg Norman, joining Azinger in an attack on the course. Azinger again. This course was not meant to be played in anything but perfect conditions. And I'm telling you, we don't have them, which is an interesting, yes, we require dome golf. Quote, this is Norman. I'm getting sick and tired of seeing golf courses like this. He was playing in the winds gusting to 40 miles an hour. I would have serious reservations about coming back and playing this course again. Now, we've done a little bit on this, you know, when it was possible he might get a TPC design contract, he returned to TPC Eagle Trace. Anyways, so he had a 6-shot lead, Pate did, on Saturday. They halt it, restart Sunday morning, comes back out, wins but the 75, wins by 3. Let's read a little bit from the Gamer. I hope Business Pete is okay with me expensing a subscription to the Sun Sentinel, $1 for a year. I will have to expense that. The Orlando.
You're
Sun
gonna have to
Sentinel.
remember to cancel it.
I in a year. I will not remember. I'm just telling you right now. I won't remember. I'm going to get popped on February 20th.
I was proud. I did newspapers.com 7-day free trial.
Yeah.
And immediately canceled when I was done the other day.
That's good. I get popped so many times for so many different things. It ended appropriately enough with the winner who shot 75, almost lost his ball in the heavy rough near the 18th green after thousands watched it land there. So heavy rough. With 15 seconds left before it would have been penalized a stroke in distance, and then who knows what would have happened. Steve Pate found his ball thanks to his scorekeeper. He chipped up to the green, 2-putted for his bogey, and tiptoed away to his new Honda champion. Quote, this is definitely survival golf out here. It's not terribly fun. It's a lot of work to play out here. Pate earned $180,000 and a new car and invitations to the Masters, World Series of Golf, and TOC for his 4th PGA Tour victory. He's a 29-year-old Californian who lives in Orlando, 3-year winless streak. Runners-up Paul Azinger and Dan Helderson earned $88,000 each. Quote from Pate, I didn't feel like I could shoot 75 and win. That surprised me. Who posted rounds of 69, 65, 70, and 75. After this, get this, he shot 80 on Tuesday in the Pro-Am and 80 on Wednesday in the Pro-Am. So they're out there. Think of the pampered Fs this week, this time of year. Pro-Ams on Tuesday and Pro-Am on Wednesday, shooting 80 in the wind, just getting your face kicked in, but you have to be out there. Quote, if the wind stayed like it this morning, I might have shot 80 again on Sunday. Instead, it was just 75. Azinger was the only one who threatened, trailing Pate by 7 shots early in the round. He briefly tied Pate at 10 under after making a 20-foot birdie. I don't need to do the play-by-play here. Quote, it's a great course to have a big lead on and coast in on, Azinger said. Steve had to make some mistakes for us to have a chance. He made a few. He had 4 bogeys and a double. So that's a lot, but not enough. Azinger said he didn't even think about winning the golf tournament until the 9th hole, but he was encouraged with his performance after being disqualified at Doral last week. After last week, Azinger said, I think I did myself proud. I didn't want to have a lingering effect. I think I could say I put it behind me. So Azinger got tied for a minute. Then he had a 3-putt bogey from 100 feet. And then, get this, he had a 5-iron into a 163-yard approach shot. 5-iron for Azinger. He's into the wind now, let's be clear. And he hits it it's like, I didn't think I could hit it. Lake behind the green. Just boom, out of here. Over club challenge.
Amazing.
5-iron from 163. He figured he was hitting at 20 yards worth of wind and never figured it would be too much club. Quote, I was shocked. The last thing to me and Billy, his caddy, said before the shot, there was no way I could hit it over the water. 5-iron, 163. So Pate was home free, despite bogeying 2 of his last 3 holes. 18th tee with a 4-shot lead. He said he lost all his thought processes. I've never been in that position before. I didn't know what to do because it was such a big lead. And so he almost lost his ball. He almost had a lost ball. They went 4 minutes, 45 seconds after the search began. His scorekeeper found it, and he found his ball. Wind came out of the south. I don't need to get all this. The 10 players shot in the 80s, including Curtis Strange, who shot 86. There were 41 double bogeys, 7 triple bogeys. The locker room,
amazing.
yeah. It was kind of incredible. So they asked Dave Barr, congratulated Halderson for a second place finish in his final round 70. He said 2 under par, pretty good. How'd you do it? He said easy, 4 birdies and an eagle for a 70. 4 birdies and an eagle for a 70. And Pate avoided the horrors that befell most. His nickname is the Volcano, but he never erupted for the big numbers, which Eagles Trace dispensed. It's not the most satisfying way to play golf, he said, but it seems to work here. The reason why this course is so frustrating is you can play 15 great holes, then make a double, triple, and screw up your whole day. I feel like such a wimp bailing out all the time here, but I'm not making 7s and 8s. Maybe I hate myself, but I like playing here. Pretty good. I hate myself, but I like playing here. So that was Eagle Trace era. It did return. This was the last one for a while. Guys were so pissed off. So then they went to Weston Hills for a while. 5 years, returned in 96. I found an old Bob Herrig article. We know Norman was like, I'm never coming back here again, but he did then say he would reevaluate his schedule. Found a Bob Herrig article in 96. With great irony, the PGA Tour returns to PBC at Eagle Trace in Coral Springs for the start of the Honda Classic. The tour abandoned the place 5 years ago and no choice but to visit again, if just for one more time this year. Players often criticize the tournament during its run at Eagle Trace from 84 to 91 and then moved to Weston Hills. This year, the tournament was led to be on the move. The tournament was supposed to be on the move again to the new Mark McCumber design layout, TPC Heron Bay.
Oh, man.
But
one TPC to another.
But they didn't go there. So how'd they end up at Eagle Trace? Construction delays because of poor weather delayed that move a year. With the scheduling conflict at Weston Hills because of bar mitzvah reception on Saturday that sparked a controversy of its own, the tournament is back at windswept Eagle Trace. Think about this now. Think about this. A bar mitzvah jams up the PGA Tour scheduling, and they end up at a place everyone hated and never wanted to go back to. 91 Norman called it Mickey Mouse and Carnival Golf. Steve Pate said it's survival golf. We just went through that. Paul Azinger said the severity of this course takes the joy out of the game. When I look at my schedule, I try to eliminate courses that will frustrate me for 2 and 3 weeks after the tournament. So literally,
I think we got to get this back out of the schedule
for a month. So it takes the joy out of the game. But this was the year it came back for 1 year only, 96. That's Steve Pate, 75 Sunday to win the 91 Honda Classic. And then they would go back for 1 year because of bar mitzvah and other scheduling issues. So that's your Flashback Friday.
Something that just came across my desk, Brendan.
Yes.
Do you know what happened on this day in 2023?
2023. No, what? What happened?
Charles Howell III and the Crushers swept the individual and team titles in LIV Golf's first visit to Mexico.
That's right. That was the carving station week, I think, right?
Yeah.
I think that video. Pouring like Jim Beam and carving up. Yeah, that's good.
The low budget rail spirits and the carving station. Didn't the guys get didn't they get food poisoning? Wasn't there
I don't know if it was this. There was one of the trips to Mexico where like everybody, and they only have so many reserves on site.
And
People
it was like, did the carving station do them in?
Yeah. One other quick note, Masters fact of the day before we get to March. I found in these notes from Bob Herrig article. Pretty interesting. In this same article, there was like a notes section. This was Ben Crenshaw at 195. This was spring of 96. Masters champ Ben Crenshaw visited Augusta National, site of his emotional victory last year in December. This is crazy. This is only the second time Crenshaw has been to the club, other than his 24 tournament appearances there. Quote from Crenshaw, I went with 2 friends and a member. We just had 2 wonderful days. It had a marvelous time. It was emotional, no question. Think about that now. Crenshaw had, and how he's like sort of this dean of like the history and the course. 95, he'd never gone other than one other time besides just tournament week. Kind of crazy when you think about it. And now, I think, exemption or invitees, I guess you would call them, and past champions can visit, although maybe not to Gary Player's satisfaction, can visit with more frequency or do often, much more. Thinking about
Can I hypothesize why?
Yes, please.
Proliferation of the private jet.
It's a good hypothesis. It's a good hypothesis.
95 big time PGA Tour players weren't flying private all over the place. Very few were.
And they're playing every week or, a lot of weeks. Augusta's not necessarily like on the main strip of travel. It's a good hypothesis. Crazy. Think about Crenshaw. Still obviously sort of a highly educated, informed on the club, even by then. All right, that does it for Flashback Friday. Peach, do you have a golf advice teaser you want to lead us away with? This is just we had that segment when I was in Miami about like what would be the hardest thing to do? Hit a fastball, run up the middle against linebacker. I just got to add one more after Winter Olympics. Disparity between Joe Schmo and the pros. Figure skating, I would just that's got to be up there. Doing the triple axles and skating around. That's a tough one. I'm going to add that one to the list. Peach, we got some feedback when we did that segment. What's the email? This is our friend Chip.
We did. I think you have the email. I don't think it went to the golf advice. It didn't go to the golf advice.
Okay,
email.
I thought I sent it to you. All right. So we got a firsthand account of having to play a pro. This was the subject line: guarding MJ. That's tough. Finished last Friday's pod and liked the discussion about the difference between normal people and elite athletes. Through a wild set of circumstances, I got to play in an exhibition game the day Michael Jordan turned pro and ended up guarding him much of the second half. The difference in results were comical. I played on the JV basketball team at Carolina and had a lot of experience playing pickup with varsity players, but Jordan was in a different stratosphere. I tried to let him shoot jump shots, but he kept going past me so fast that I couldn't even foul him. Think about this. JV, Carolina. I wanted him to shoot jump shots. He kept going by me so fast I could not even foul him. The few times he paid attention to me defensively, not only could I not get a shot off, I couldn't get a pass around him. I couldn't believe how strong he was. And this was when he was still considered skinny. Lots more to the story, but the coolest part was my parents got to see the game. He added shag punts for an NFL punter once. This was also very humbling. That's an amazing story. Think about it. Before Jordan, Jordan was still Jordan, but not yet MJ, and couldn't get a pass, let alone a shot, and couldn't even foul him because he was going by me so fast. From a good basketball player, JV Carolina player. So, BJ, what's our prompt for golf advice?
sgsgolfadvice@gmail.com. Send us your stories if you have ever encountered a pro athlete in the wild as a child, growing up, high school, or whatever. We want to do a compilation of everybody's best stories of this ilk guarding Michael Jordan in a JV basketball game. That type of stuff.
I want to be clear. This might not happen until November when it's slow in golf, but we will gather them. I can think back to friends trying to tackle Maurice Claret, thinking about that and how funny that was. Just send your stories to SGS Golf Advice, any sport, of whether it was high school. I believe KVV played against Randy Moss in college. We'll get that one. So send those stories to SGS Golf Advice. All right. That does it. Friday episode. Andy, enjoy your weekend. One more weekend in the swamp with a few more days down there. Are you going to go over the Cognizant?
No. I was asked by many people if I was coming over. I had other things to do.
All right.
I like many of the top tour pros that are in town this week.
Kind of nuts what's happened. All right, everybody, enjoy your weekends.
One more piece of news. Sorry, I forgot. I didn't mean to butt in here at the end. Tom Sim is back Sunday night after.
Oh, that's Jupe. Is it Jupe Boston?
Yeah,
Jupe Boston, bringing out the big guns.
Sunday night. Oh, we didn't know is that Jim.
We'll
Furyk.
have to do TGL power rankings on Monday.
We can do that. Jim Furyk is also on the call for NBC. That's your last bit of news in the booth. What do
you think? Are you excited about Furyk?
Yeah, could be interesting. I think NBC needs to find something. I don't know, or just settle on something. I don't know if they have to find it, but
I don't know what they're doing. What are they doing?
I don't know. Platoon.
What does this mean for Kevin Kisner?
What I don't get is how CBS effectively, you get in the Catalan zone eventually, late in the year, but like they roll out their team every week. How come NBC just can't just give us the same team so we could get used to it every week?
Yeah.
I mean, this
It's
is
kinda
year
nuts.
3 of this.
And you learn like the week before it's happening. Here's press release. Furyk's here next week. Bay Hill. I'm excited to hear Jim Furyk.
You know what it's like? It's like a tanking NBA team that keeps signing players to 10-day contracts to immediately go into the lineup.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to. Yeah. It's crazy. There was not long ago, and all this stuff is cyclical, where you'd be like, thank God NBC is here. We're off the West Coast swing. CBS like was killing us. And now it's like totally, I don't want to say NBC's like bad, like awful, but you know, CBS is certainly a joy right now. So, all right, Furyk's back. That's news. All right, that does it. Thank you so much for your continued support of the Shotgun Start. We will talk to you on Monday.